market can shift quickly, and we've had that conversation.
And it feels like it has shifted quickly.
Right. I agree. That's where I was going. So you think about last fall, September, October, November. It was not hot as this February, March, April were.
Right.
Right. We felt a huge change after the first of the year in the frenzy of housing, right? And people wanting to get a house or getting it sold for top dollar. We were getting a lot of offers. But last October, it wasn't like that. I know I helped some people buy a house last October, and we were able to negotiate. We were able to, have the seller take care of what historically have been typical seller-paid items.
Right.
We were able to do a repair request. We were able to, have the opportunity to write a buyer's offer that wasn't all trying to give the seller everything, right? And then it shifted, and that house those clients bought in October, come March, probably was worth $100,000 more based on how the market was. And now we're feeling it kind of level out, I would say.
Yeah, and I've heard a few stories, and in these type of stories that are anecdotal are just that. They're anecdotal, they're not data. But it's, where a home was under contract at a certain price, a couple months ago, deal fell through, went back on market, and now, they couldn't get that same price that they had it under contract for earlier.
The momentum is shifted.
Now, there's usually obviously more to that story. Usually that means when during due diligence something came up, like in inspections, that maybe there was some challenges, and suddenly the home, whoever was buying it realized, no, the value wasn't there. So just because it was under contract at a certain price doesn't mean that price made sense. There was a reason that person backed out of that deal. But there
not
could
always.
be a lot. There's a lot of reasons.
A lot of what I've seen is financing changes.
Yeah. Well, the whole interest rate thing has been dramatic, right?
Right. So, speaking of, just for clarity for the listeners, right, there's people who put new construction homes under contract last summer.
Yep.
Those houses are just being finished right now. The interest rate last summer that they used to qualify for that new home that might be $400,000 or $500,000 or $350,000 is significantly different. And there are some of those people who had those houses being built that now, because of the shift in interest rates, don't qualify.
It's interesting. I've talked to two local home builders that we all know, and one of them told me that a good portion, let's say a third of their buyers are cash. The other one told me that a good portion of their buyers are out of state and or cash or whatever. So it's interesting in the new construction. It's unfortunately, it's not the entry-level homes for New Mexicans. I take that back, because we know obviously of many cases where there's first-time home buyers buying a new construction home, right? I mean, that's clearly
not
happening.
Just first-time home buyers. It's people who live here that have decided they're going to get a new home. And
I think that the main point I think I wanted to make was that it's the new construction. It just doesn't have the ability to address
a New Mexican first-time home.
No, not New Mexican. No, just an entry level,
price.
sub $300,000 house. That is just not a thing that home builders can build anymore. They cannot build a home for under $300,000.
Right. There aren't new construction here, Los Lunas, Belen even, right? And if you get one,
and I just want to make one point on that. It's not like they're like jacking up their prices, right? Their margins, as I understand, based on some data I've seen, the profit margins of the builders have shrunk because their prices went up so high, so fast on all of their stuff, labor, materials, so on and so forth, that they couldn't pass all of that on, and so builders are behind the eight ball, and I don't that's not against them. That's just the way the market is. There's so many things. I had a story up earlier. In fact, Tracy, where did I put that story? It's like, what are the things that home builders want people to know that might be thinking about buying a new home? And it was, understand things are taking longer. We have a lot of supply chain issues. We have labor issues. We don't have enough, skilled tradespeople to build as fast as we'd like to. Things are taking longer. So, it's all great. And, buying a new home is awesome. Just understand, all the implications that comes along with that.
So in those conversations, Tego, with some of those home builders, what I remember you also telling me is they aren't seeing cancellations because of interest rate changes.
No.
There's not a lot. I know I've talked to one local builder, different one, and they've had a couple. We've seen a couple come back on market, but they're mostly houses in the 400s, 400,000 and up. And they came back on market, not necessarily because the buyer can't qualify anymore, but it could be. But you think about last summer putting a house under contract to be built, and it's now getting close to closing. A lot of times people's lives have changed in a year, and maybe their job has changed and they're moving or whatever. So there's lots of reasons why that could happen.
So my notes right here, Tracy, I've got a question, and is it cheap, since we're having this conversation, is it cheaper to build or is it cheaper to buy existing? And I always joke with the new home builders always call them used homes.
Right.
We call them resale homes. And
existing resale.
Resale homes, they call them used homes. But and I'll just bottom line it. Generally a new construction home, when you compare it, per square foot, of living space, you're going to be 20 to 30% more
than resale
for new construction. However, there's all those trade-offs. It's more energy efficient. It's got all the new cool whiz-bang stuff. You got the latest design trends. You've got the latest materials. You've got the latest appliances. So yeah, you get all that stuff. You get that new home smell, right?
Right.
You get a 10-year warranty. You do get a lot of good stuff if you buy new and pay that that more. So it's something everybody should consider when they're out looking, for sure.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Getting a new house is fun, whether it's a resale,
well, it's just like
used house, or
it's just like it's the same with the car thing, right? We know we can buy a used car. Well, maybe not these days, but in general, you can buy a 1 or 2 year old car that has already taken a big depreciation and save a bunch of money, but it's not new.
Right.